Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Hotelier Talks. Today I welcome Emanuele Cosomati, General Manager of Hotel Illuster in Zürich. Emanuele, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Thibault. Thank you for inviting me to this nice session.
Perfect. Before we get started, maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself, about your career, and also about what makes Hotel Illuster a special place.
Yeah, of course. About myself, I'm 36 years old and I have a quite international background. Italian father, German mother, Spanish wife, so I'm quite part of the EU. For the last 10 years, mainly, I've been working in the sales and marketing departments in the hospitality industry, and I haven't done the normal work experience or the normal work approach most of our hospitality colleagues have done by going through all the departments in the operational part. I've studied economics, and I added on top of that, because I didn't know really what was my path in my career, I added then the hospitality management master. And so I landed in the hospitality industry directly in sales and marketing departments, starting in Munich, then in Sevilla in Spain, then getting back to Munich in Germany again. And finally, I landed roughly 10 years ago in Switzerland, where I started in Lucerne, and then now for my last years now in Zürich. And now it's 2 years that I am working for the Hotel Illuster and leading this nice 3-star hotel, which is privately held. It's a private hotel. It's owned by a Swiss company who is mainly active in different kind of operations, from rental homes to shopping centers and much more building investments in Zurich area. What makes Hotel Illuster so special, you asked before. We are in Uster, which is close by to Zurich. It's just 15 minutes by train to Zurich city center. We are in the heart of Uster city, and basically the Hotel Illuster is, from my perspective, positioned as a 3-star modern business hotel. And what we are trying to reach since I started 2 years ago is to be number one in so-called Zürich Oberland, which is our region, in terms of revenues, in terms of reviews. So to be ranked number one in terms of how guests are experiencing our hotel compared to other hotels in the region. And as well, which is very important for the Hotel Illuster, is that it has been completely renovated in over 2.5 years, and this renovation ended beginning of 2018. And so we are one of the most new hotels here in the region, which is of course a very important USP when it comes to attract new clients to the hotel. And what we are really proud of here at the Hotel Illuster is our second floor, where I am currently based as well. It's my office as well here. Is that there is everything for the guests. So there is the reception, there is the bar, there is the buffet area for the breakfast, and there is the wonderful sun terrace outside, which gives you like a bit of holiday feeling every time you come to Uster, and you don't really have the feeling to be in the city center, but mainly on some sunny deck of a great building.
Perfect. Amazing. Thanks for for this introduction. So we're going to talk about technology today, especially. So yeah, I'd like to firstly ask you kind of what role does technology play in the overall hotel strategy and philosophy?
Well, it's a very, very important role, and it's getting more and more important. Of course, everybody knows about the current situations we hoteliers and hotels are going through since March 2020, and but also already when I started in April 2019, for me one of the most crucial points was the technological part for the hotel. I'm a huge technology fan. Also in my private life, I really like everything which is kind of innovation, kind of state of the art technology in every pattern, and of course I try to bring in this kind of approach also in the hotels where I work. And when I started, it was one of the priorities to work on the technological side, but there were much more issues to work on the operational side. So the first year, we didn't do anything which was kind of tech crazy things. We really did our groundwork, base work to have smooth processes with the technological landscape we had at that time. Yeah. And now in the second year, which is mainly the COVID year for me, well, there was the main focus on the digital landscape, because I saw the opportunity for us to start to change due to this whole difficult situation, and well, which could be the best opportunity to do some change when the hotel is not running in a normal way. So you have much more empty time slots to work on. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and you bring my next question perfectly. COVID was obviously a trigger to identifying a space for change, and yeah, we worked together quickly last year on a new horizon, if you can call it like that. You've gone through quite some change in your technology stack. What was, except for COVID, the biggest trigger for that change, and how did you approach it?
Yeah, as you mentioned, that was the starting point where we get to know each other as well, where we because I started to have a deeper look in all the digital options we could implement as a hotel. And of course, the main trigger was the PMS for me, because it's the heart system of our digital landscape. And having tried to change basically everything, so when I started this process, for me it was clear that I will change the PMS, the POS for our bar, and also the IBE for our website. So at that moment, I knew the project is huge, but the most important thing for me is to find at that moment the suitable PMS where I can add on then the other two features I was looking for.
Great.
So yeah.
And how did you? So you mentioned you looked at the PMS first as the core component of the tech stack, and how did you approach it then? Did you say, okay, let's focus on the basics, which you mentioned, the PMS, the POS, and the booking engine for online visibility and bookability? How did you then, once that was kind of selected and set in stone, how did you kind of prioritize your search for other solutions, and maybe any advice to other hoteliers trying to prioritize that search?
it wasn't an easy process and easy approach for me. It was the first time as well, so I've never done such a digital change from scratch at any hotel before. I used to work a lot at international chain hotels where you could say the digital landscape is given. You can only do some minimal changes, but in private health hotels it's different because you have the full landscape to work on, and so for me there was one crucial point from the beginning. I knew that I wanted a landscape which is cloud-based, which is not connected to any physical service in the hotel, so that we can have access from mainly myself, but in general that you have access to the systems from anywhere, and that you are not binded to any kind of software on your hardware. So that was for me very, very important, and therefore this was kind of the first filter in terms of search when I tried to prioritize which kind of systems could fit to our hotel. And then, as I mentioned before, I was in the first point looking at the PMS because it is for me like the key system at which then I would add the other systems. And not being an expert didn't make this kind of process very easy because I have a good knowledge and a good feeling with the technological part, but I am not a digital expert in that sense that I know the market in a way you possibly do because you're working on a daily basis with a lot of different digital players in the hospitality industry. So this was very time consuming in the beginning, and of course I also tried to look at the price of those systems in terms of, if I do a complete new digital landscape, it cannot be a landscape which costs me like double compared to the one I had before, keeping in mind that we were in a situation without revenues. So sure. This is also very important to keep in mind. So my objective was to really find a solution which makes our digital landscape like a state-of-the-art landscape, where you can say, okay, this is a landscape which can work for the at least next 3 to 5 years. And from the cost perspective, where you could tell, okay, I don't have any negative effect on my overall costs over the year by implementing those systems. An advice for the hoteliers. Well, I had the luck to get in touch with you at that time, so this was a really, really good input to have someone who don't know me as a person, doesn't know the hotel basically as well, and could give like a very objective feedback to what could be an option for us as a 3-star 60-room hotel with the kind of needs I mentioned at that time during this process. So this was kind of helpful if a hotelier is dealing right now with the same issues I was dealing with, I would really suggest to find some digital expert to give you an objective input, and of course to get referrals from the systems you think would fit to your hotel, to have a really live feedback from users using those systems in their hotels, because sometimes you get much more insights from those hotels which are using it for at least 6 to 12 months, where you notice that most probably there are some pros and cons which you didn't have on the screen before.
Yeah, that makes sense. And before we go into more details about your tech stack and what are the components, what were the, let's say, the biggest challenges during the transition? Even though maybe there was less activity, but maybe less employees helping you. What were the biggest challenges, and what would you do differently, maybe looking back?
It's difficult to really say that there were crucial challenges in the transition. There were, of course, challenges, and we knew that at the time of going live, there will be a lot of challenges we would have never thought about it before. So, and this was the case. So we had some errors in the processes, with in the booking process with the PMS. We didn't know how to manage certain things in the accounting part of the reservations. So, but the support was very good in this go live stage with our PMS supplier, and this helped a lot to be quite quick in reacting to those challenges. The whole situation of the COVID helped a lot, because you had a very low amount of reservations to deal with. So the learning from each reservation was much bigger than compared to dealing with a full house from day one, where you have no time to deal with those errors and challenges, because you have to deal with the operational stuff. So this was our luck in this negative situation of the corona experience. But I must say, in normal times, it wouldn't be that easy to do all that what we have done, because the employees wouldn't have the time to deal with all those improvements. They would have much more time to invest with guests and reservations and phone calls and other operational stuff. So I really suggest to any other hoteliers outside, do it right now. Do it as fast as you can before it starts again. Hopefully soon, back to normality. But if you plan to do any changes, do it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully, even though we wanted to go away as soon as possible, still some hotels realize it. And maybe you can finish that question on how long did the whole process take in the change, like not the selection and so on, but once you've selected, how long did the implementation take, at least on the core systems?
Yeah, so we started in the whole pitch process was started in March, April. Until summer, we made the decision about the systems. So it took like 3 months approximately to really evaluate which systems will be the ones to be implemented and to finalize the contracting. And then from the contracting stage, we needed again approximately other 3 months to go live, to do the whole setup of the systems, to get the dates for the trainings, somewhere online, somewhere physical, to get the hardware, for example, for the POS, which is iPad based, to get the installations, etc. So we also took the time as well, because there was basically no pressure due to the whole situation, and we used the time to do like a 1 month of trial period. So we built a trial hotel, which was the copy of our hotel, and we basically worked on the old live system and did the same job on the new system to learn how it would be, to have a list of questions to our new suppliers, and to basically eliminate all possible errors in the real go live transition with the new systems. So this was also something which helped us a lot, because at the time we did go live, basically all employees already knew how to work with the new systems. and this made all the processes very much easier.
Yeah, that's great advice, actually. Cool. And if we now dive into kind of more details on the technology stack. So the previous one was, I don't want to call it legacy, but let's say had been in place for some years, and you had a reduced number of providers on the different aspects of the business. Today, you've gone to kind of the future in what we call best of breed, and having one system for each part of the business and the best system. What does your technology stack look like today? And what have been the most positive impacts, even though the business is still low? Are you already seeing positive signs of the change?
So nowadays we have basically, as you mentioned, for each technological process, one partner. So we have one POS provider, we have one provider for our booking engine, which is also the same provider for our channel manager. We have our PMS provider, and basically what we are noticing is that the operational processes are much quicker than before. I don't know if there is a word, but it's like debureaucratized everything. So it's much smoother. And before, you really needed to pay much more attention to every step you do during the reservation and accounting process. And with the new systems we implemented, it's much more secure, and you have much more or less potential of errors, of human errors, because the step-by-step process is very straightforward. So since we cannot tell in comparison to the previous years that we are doing a better job, because there is no travel volume to do so, what we can tell is that our operational processes have been improving since we implemented the new systems in November last year. Yeah.
Yep. And as you, let's say, implemented the first solutions, or let's say the core solutions, we were always kind of having a chat months after months on where you stand. And you all obviously wanted to first take care of the core systems, and then kind of focus your efforts on, let's say, more guest experience related technologies. Right, what tech projects are you currently working on, or how you've worked on, let's say, in the past couple months? Maybe you can tell us a bit more about that, and what are your plans for the future?
You're right. So the idea was, of course, at the time we implemented the new systems, we didn't know when it gets back to normality. So, and now here we are, and it's still not normal. What I've been working on over the last months was to find a solution and a provider for the digital guest journey. So now we are going live this week with our partner in the digital communication with the guests. Means that the automated email communication for every different step of the guest journey, pre-stay, during the stay, and post-stay. The digitalization of the registration form for the guests, making basically the whole guest journey easier and smoother. So this has been one of the biggest projects. We had some difficulties because we had one partner which finally wasn't the right partner for us. So we did start from scratch again, a second time with a different provider. And these are things which happens when you do something from scratch. So, and sometimes it can happen that the provider cannot implement what you expect or what you have been getting promised from the beginning. But luckily, we did find quite rapidly a new partner which could implement it very, very, very fast and straightforward what we needed. And now we are there. And last week we went live with a chatbot on our website. It's quite a basic version. It's not the most high-tech artificial intelligence chatbot you have on the market. There are, of course, other options on the market. My personal idea was to give to our guests like a more interacting way of the FAQs or basic informations you usually search on the website. So there are like the top 15 most relevant information a guest usually is looking for, like the parking, like the Wi-Fi, like breakfast, so that you don't need to find the sub-page on the website where the information is put, and most probably perhaps not updated sometimes, or not the most updated version. So the chatbot is there for those guests looking for those questions and finding quite quickly the right answers to it. So yeah, these are the last approaches to our digital landscape. Yeah.
Amazing, and it's great to see that even with a small team you can accomplish a lot and be able to manage a lot, because a lot of hotels are a bit afraid of having too many tools, and more is sometimes not the best. So it's good to hear. And maybe one last question, Emanuele. The market is seeing now more and more PMSs that are coming with a marketplace, or that say that they come with a marketplace where you can kind of plug and play. Did you feel, and you're using one of these, did you feel that in this sort of new era it allows you to have this sort of research and development approach like startups could have, where you're kind of testing? You mentioned that your first digital guest journey provider did not necessarily meet your expectations, and still 1 month later you're able to deliver a solution with another provider. How do you perceive that? Was that kind of important in your choice to have quick options where your provider, your PMS provider, already works with these other third-party solutions for to make sure that everything can roll out correctly?
Yes, I mean, it was unusual because we came from a landscape where everything was like basically on one provider. So the switch to having so many partners like we have right now has been huge, and wasn't easy in the beginning, because really you have a lot of contact with different people, and everybody has a different approach to the digital landscape, and how they want to implement their tools in the most efficient way. On the other side, you have a lot of input. You have a lot of new horizons which are opening, because you get from different perspective a different kind of input about what could be best for your hotel, and then you just need to take the best of this input and put it together. So you need to activate filter on and say, okay, what's relevant for me from all those inputs I receive. And I think that's the future for the hospitality, to be able to choose your partners for the different kind of services you want. It won't work anymore to have a one-man show in the digital landscape, which is providing everything, because this one-man show cannot be strong enough in all digital processes for all digital services as it is for its core service. I say a PMS provider, its core business, it's not an IBE. Its core business, it's not the POS. So if if you take everything from one provider, most probably you won't be happy with 2/3 of the digital landscape you get. So I really recommend to go to those PMS providers. And I already see that also the big players, the historical players, are now moving to this new approach, which the youngest players have introduced into the market with the API connections and the connectivity to different players in the digital landscape, because it's the future. It will be very, very important for all small and mid-sized hotels to be on that wave in the next 2 years.
For sure. That's a great way to wrap it up. Emanuele, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your insights.
Thank you as well.
Hope to talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Thibault.
Cheers. Bye-bye.